If this is you sitting there, phone in hand, staring at a blank chat screen, wondering if she's even thinking about you, I want you to breathe, because I see you. Maybe this feels familiar, the text you sent that never got a reply, the calls you let ring, the little moments you rewound in your mind over and over, trying to figure out what went wrong. You tell yourself you're fine, but deep down, that emptiness in your chest won't let you lie to yourself. You replay her last words, her last laugh, even the way she used to look at you, and now, silence, months of it. And every day that passes, the questions get louder. Was it me? Did I say something wrong? Does she even care anymore? You scroll past old pictures, pretending it doesn't hurt, pretending it's just life, but it's not. It's pain. It's uncertainty. It's longing for someone who was once so close, now just a ghost in your memories. And the worst part, you don't even know what she's feeling. You're trapped in your own head, asking yourself if you should move on, or if there's still a chance. So, here's the question that matters. What does it really mean when she goes completely silent for months? And why your gut already knows the truth? Most men get this completely wrong. And it's not because they're weak. It's because they're looking for answers in all the wrong places. They see months of silence and immediately panic, thinking it's about them, thinking they've lost their power. But here's the truth: your value isn't measured by her attention, her words, or her presence. It's measured by your own life, your own actions, and your ability to remain steady when the world feels uncertain. Men often believe they have to chase, persuade, or fix what's missing. That's fear masquerading as effort. The first core principle every man needs to understand is seeks error is emotional sovereignty. Your inner state is yours alone. No one can take it, and no one can give it to you. The second principle is presence over pursuit. A man who is truly grounded doesn't beg for clarity or explanations. He lives his life fully, allowing reality to unfold while remaining unshakable. Months of silence don't define your worth, and they don't define hers either. They are simply a mirror, reflecting the way you handle uncertainty and how you respond in that space. Calm, composed, unwavering, reveals the kind of man you truly are. The phone sits on the table, screen dark, untouched for weeks. You reach for it out of habit, thumb hovering over her name, and then pause again. The coffee in your mug has gone cold. The sunlight slanting through the blinds feels sharper somehow, as if it's highlighting the emptiness in the room. You remember the way she used to laugh across the table, the sound lingering in your chest long after it faded. You wonder if she even thinks about you anymore, if the memory of you is a ghost in her day like hers is in yours. You pace the floor, muttering questions to yourself that have no answers. Or was it something I said? Something I did? Every scenario plays in your mind, rewinding, replaying, twisting itself into guilt. Silence stretches out in front of you, thick, suffocating, and you hate it, but you can't stop staring at the space where her words used to be. And yet, somewhere beneath the ache, there's a strange clarity. The truth presses softly against your mind. Months without contact aren't a judgment on your worth. They're just a mirror, showing you what you need to see, if only you can step back and watch without panic. Most men believe that months of silence mean one thing: rejection. That if she hasn't reached out, it's because she no longer cares, or because something about you wasn't enough. That's the first false belief I want to challenge. Silence is not a verdict on your worth. It's information. It tells you what is not what you're lacking. It's not a judgment. It's a moment to pause, to observe, and to check in with yourself. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. That's the truth most men miss. The second false belief is this: you think you need to fix it. You assume that sending the right text, showing up at the right time, or proving yourself in some grand gesture will make her come back, or make you feel secure. That's desperation masquerading as action. Real strength doesn't chase or plead. Real strength waits with clarity, knowing that your life, your growth, and your standards are the only things worth investing in. Your value isn't in her words. It's in your presence, A third belief that traps men is the idea that time equals loss. That every day she stays silent, chips away at your chance, at your relevance, at your manhood. That's fear, not fact. Time is neutral. It doesn't take from you unless you give it power. Months without contact are not a punishment. They are a spotlight. They reveal where your attention, energy, and focus truly lie. Are you anchored in your own life, or are you floating in a sea of what-ifs? Months of silence aren't absence. Their clarity disguised as emptiness. The wake-up call here is simple. The moment she goes quiet is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of seeing the truth about her, about the situation, and most importantly, about yourself. Stop trying to force what isn't yours to control. Stop confusing her silence with failure, and start measuring your worth by the life you're building, the calm you carry, and the man you're becoming while the world plays out around you. This is what the 1% headman understands. Silence is never personal. He doesn't take months without contact as a verdict on his worth, because he knows his value is self-generated. It isn't borrowed from her attention, her words, or her presence. He lives anchored in his own purpose, in his own growth, in the life he's building every single day. While most men panic, replay messages, and search for signs, he observes quietly, with calm awareness. He knows that clarity comes to those who are grounded, not desperate. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. He doesn't chase or plead. He doesn't overthink what she's feeling or why she's gone quiet. Instead, he channels his energy into what he can control himself. His confidence isn't fragile. It doesn't waver when a screen stays dark. He's patient because he understands the difference between urgency and importance, between reaction and strategy. His mind is clear, his emotions are steady, and he never confuses her silence with failure. He also understands that time is neutral. Months without contact aren't punishment. They're information. They reveal what really matters. Are you anchored in your own life, or are you letting her absence define your emotional state? The 1% headman uses that information to deepen his own life, not to chase someone else's attention. He cultivates his purpose, his strength, his passions, and his inner peace. That's how he becomes magnetic without even trying. This is what sets him apart. He doesn't measure himself against her actions. He measures himself against his own standards. He's not ruled by uncertainty, he's guided by his principles. While most men spiral into fear, longing, or overanalysis, he moves forward, steady, composed, unshakable. And here's the quiet truth he lives by: the woman who is meant to be part of his life will match the energy he already holds. She doesn't need to force it. She will show up naturally, or the silence continues, and he doesn't falter. In the end, the 1% headman doesn't just survive months of silence. He thrives in them. He transforms absence into clarity, uncertainty into presence, and waiting into growth. He knows that his story doesn't pause because someone else hasn't reached out. And in that understanding, he is free, empowered, and fully alive. The room is quiet, except for the soft hum of the city outside. You sit there, phone untouched for hours, letting the emptiness settle around you like a weight you've carried for too long. And then, slowly, something shifts. You realize you've been holding your breath, waiting for her, waiting for a sign, waiting for validation that doesn't belong to anyone but you. A flicker of understanding cuts through the ache. Your worth was never in her words, never in her presence. It's been inside you all along. You lean back, close your eyes, and feel it. Your own pulse steady, undeniable. All the moments you doubted yourself, all the nights you replayed her silence, they were just distractions from the truth. You've always been enough. You remember the passions you abandoned, the goals you put on pause, the man you promised yourself you'd be. And in that memory, a quiet fire ignites. It isn't anger, it isn't despair. It's recognition. You don't need her to complete you. You don't need a text, a call, or an explanation. You've been whole the entire time. And in that stillness, clarity arrives. The waiting ends here. You rise, not for her, not for anyone, but for yourself. Months of silence are not a punishment. They are a mirror. They show you where your focus has been, where your energy has been spent, and whether you've been living for yourself or for someone else. In that quiet, the truth becomes undeniable. Your worth was never dependent on her attention. It was there all along, steady, unshakable, waiting for you to remember. So stop measuring yourself by her absence. Step into the life you've been neglecting, the man you were meant to be, and never forget this: he who owns himself needs no permission to exist.